ladies and gentlemen, we come to that time of the program which is always a big hit, and of course ACM always has been and continues to be a national organisation, and we have a structure whereby we have divisions and branches, and I know that we have received reports from various divisions, and also if there's anyone present who would like to speak on behalf of their branch or division, they may also do so on this opportunity.
My name's Gary Kent. I'm the convener of the ACT Region branch of ACM. I was pleased to be appointed convener in June last year after the very unfortunate death of Alan Fitzgerald, who you may have known. He was our founding convener in the early 90s, and he passed away in May 2011. So I was pleased to be appointed to take over from Alan, but he's a very hard act to follow. We had a very busy year in Canberra. If Tasmania is a funny place, then I think Canberra is even more a funny place. We were, of course, the only place in Australia to vote no, to vote yes to the Republic in the referendum, and it's always a difficult battle in Canberra to keep the flag flying. We have to be vigilant about creeping republicanism. In fact, only yesterday I received an email from a student at the Australian National University. The Master of University House at the university is trying again to remove the portrait of the Queen from the hall at the university. So we're going to mount a bit of a local campaign on that, and we'll be writing to the newspaper to ensure that doesn't happen. I gather he's tried before, and some of the students at the university are working with us to ensure that that does not occur. Also, only a few weeks ago, the Republican movement in the ACT put to the public a plan to remove the crown from the Canberra coat of arms. Now, the coat of arms were granted to Canberra in 1928, I think, and the Republicans believe that it's out of date, and that they believe it should be used as a sort of a tourist attraction for Canberra, and that the crest is dated and really isn't serving the purpose it should. We believe that the crest should remain. It's part of our heritage, and I went on ABC Radio to put that point, and we wrote a letter to the editor as well. We had a busy year. Our first event was the Queen's visit in October last year. We in Canberra were very lucky that the Queen visited the ACT for 6 days. So we had an awful lot of the Queen, and we were most grateful. We attended the Queen's visit to St John's Church in the Sun. We put up a sign that said Australians for constitutional monarchy, but we were forced to take it down. The church didn't approve of the sign being displayed. So the police came over to us and said, please take it down, and we did, but we thought that was a little bit disappointing. We also watched the Queen attend Floriade. She came over the lake on a lake cruise, and also visited Duntroon, and we maintained a presence at all of those activities. This year we had a very successful lunch for the Diamond Jubilee. We had 105 people at a lunch in Canberra, and we were most privileged that Sir David Smith, official secretary to I don't know how many Governors-General, spoke about 60 glorious years, and it was one of our most ever successful events. I neglected to mention that during the Queen's visit we had a morning tea for our members, and that too was well attended. Our special guest on that occasion was Malcolm Hazel, who was the official secretary to at least 2 Governors-General, I think, and he spoke about his career organising royal visits back to the 1970s, and he gave us lots of wonderful anecdotes about the Queen and her family and their visits to Australia over that period. For the future, we're trying to attract more young people to the movement. We have a number of interested people at the Australian National University getting involved. We have a website. We're trying to make the website more interactive and go onto Facebook, but I find all those things very confusing, but we do hope to have a Facebook presence very soon. And the other thing we'd like to do is you may know that our region covers not only Canberra, but Queanbeyan, Goulburn, Braidwood and Bungendore. And we'd like to extend the activities of the movement to those areas and reactivate some of the branches that existed some years ago. We'll be in touch. We'll be in Braidwood, Royalla, all these places in the hinterland of the ACT and beyond. We'll be in touch with you to make sure that we are tapping the enthusiasm that exists in the Canberra region. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
We did also have an address to the conference from one of the people who we had invited to speak, but who was unable to be present for various circumstances, which was Senator Cory Bernardi.
Hello and welcome to the Australians for Constitutional Monarchies National Conference. I'm sorry that I can't be there today. I would love to have been with you all to celebrate the monarchist cause and this Diamond Jubilee year in honour of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. One can never cease to be amazed at what a significant achievement this is. Indeed, this year's theme, the Diamond Jubilee, 60 years of impeccable service, puts it perfectly. The Queen's service to her subjects has been impeccable. As Queen of Australia, Her Majesty has been a sure and steady presence. She doesn't change with the many whims of politics. She doesn't alter her duties based on opinion polls. She's a constant that has provided stability to our country's constitutional democracy and many others around the world. Indeed, for over 80% of Australians, she is the only monarch they have ever known. And it is easy to forget how much the world has changed during her reign. When the Queen came to the throne, communism ruled the Soviet Union. Winston Churchill and Robert Menzies were in power, and we were right in the middle of the Korean War. When one considers the world today compared to 1952, we can't help but appreciate just how the Queen has moved with the times, and how she has retained the esteem of millions around the world. For a monarch to perform their duties with such dignity and competence for 6 decades is a feat worthy of all the celebrations we have seen, and more. Our Queen has weathered a number of challenges and brought the royal family and the monarchy into a new age of optimism. Along with a popular affection for the Queen, the marriage of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge has contributed to the positive attitude towards the British monarchy. And even Barry Cohen, the former Labor government minister, has said, and I quote, "For the first time, I'm tempted to vote for the monarchy." Clearly because of the royal newlyweds. But he's not the only one. One of our latest opinion polls has found that a majority of Australians, about 58%, are in favour of remaining a monarchy, the highest level since our bicentennial in 1988. And this compares to only 35% who want a republic. It shows the doubters that the monarchy is not an outdated notion that should be relegated to the rubbish heap of history. It is as relevant today as it was decades ago. Now all of this should give us confidence for the future. We move forward, confident in the public face of the monarchy, the royal family, that they will commit to their duties and carry on the extraordinary example forged for them by our Queen. And we also remain confident in the constitutional foundations of our country, because we know that our arguments in support of our constitutional monarchy are based on a strong bedrock of tradition and stability. Now that sounds like a pretty good recipe for success to me. But I encourage all of you to not become complacent and rest on the results of recent opinion polls. Just as Her Majesty has been dutiful and steadfast, so too must we be. Let this year's National Conference reinforce your strong commitment to our constitutional monarchy. Have a wonderful conference.